Doing something a little bit different today. We'll get into it after the intro. What is up, fins? I have gotten a request to make a video about what kind of gear I use. So let's get right into it. This is the gear that I use the most often. I have this set up so that if I'm not filming and I want to go fishing, if I have to, this is the only thing that I need to take, and you'll see why later. This is the CLC Wild River backpack. Yes, it was a little bit pricey, but it has outlasted several backpacks that I used prior to this. Starting from the top to the bottom, on the top container holds my sunglasses, just a pair of Oakley split shots, polarized so you can see those fish in the water. Moving down, a little pouch here, I have a neck gaiter in, some band-aids for when I hook myself instead of a fish. Mustad fillet knife. Moving on, I have some soft baits in here that wouldn't fit in the other part. Rage tail swimmers, excellent bait for putting on a trailer of a jig. I should take this moment to say that I'm not sponsored by anyone. You're going to hear a lot of brand names here. I use these names because they're good and because I like them. That being said, this is going to be a name you're going to hear a lot. Googan Squad. Their baits are top of the line. I mean, every time I use them, I catch fish. And that's another thing about the tackle that I use. I have a subscription to Mystery Tackle Box, which means once a month, I'm getting new baits. A lot of times I've never used them before. So they're going to be in here. Just because I have them doesn't mean that they are like my preferred baits or anything like that. If I use something and it catches me fish on a regular basis, it's going to stay. If it does not catch fish, it doesn't stay in this bag. Up next, I have Weston Cree Craw in here. Now this I did get in my Mystery Tackle Box. So far I've got two different Weston, one's a soft bait, one's a hard bait. Got both of them in a Mystery Tackle Box, and they really work. Bug spray, always got to have bug spray. And this is why all I need to do is take my pack. I have a collapsible rod. It's just a cheapie, nothing special. But if I want to go fishing without carrying a bunch of stuff, I can literally just grab this bag and go. Okay, moving on down the bag from there. Got the pliers on a nice quick release. They're just Berkeley pliers. It's nothing like super special. Over here, I have a thermometer. That way I can base my fishing on what temperature it is. In this side, I have a couple of strike indicators for when I catfish. I have a Zippo lighter in here. Down here, soft plastics. I have those Kalins that I used in my Mystery Tackle Box video. I also have the Northern Lights plastics. That was the second catch in the video. Yamamoto. These are probably the best stick bait worms you're going to find. Those things work really well. Also, these tip toads. Another very good, I mean, these things, you put them on the right jig and you work them right, they're going to get hits. They're very lifelike. Here's another Kalin product. I don't know what it is about these things, but it makes fish crazy. They definitely get bites too. And as you can see, a whole bunch of Guggen baits. The Kraken Craw, a couple of different colors of Explode Toad, and then the secret weapon. This thing is deadly. Guggen Bandito Bug. Probably the best bait that they make as far as soft plastics goes anyway. Up here is kind of my gear bag. Got a thing of waterproof container of matches. Got some fly tying stuff here, scissors. I got a sharpener here for my fillet knife. Extra pack of swivels that wouldn't fit in the box. This is a bait threader. Back before I started using circle hooks for catfishing, I would take my hot dogs. I use hot dogs in Jello, by the way, for catfish. I would thread this through the hot dog and then hook the snell line onto that and then pull it back through so that the treble hook would fit on the bottom of the hot dog. I don't really use this too much anymore now that I'm using circle hooks, but yeah, it's this side threads your bait, and then this side is for your no, I'm just kidding. This side hooks onto stuff, and then it's like a retractor. Split ring pliers. Always have to have split ring pliers. Changing out those treble hooks. I always keep a Sharpie in here. Some of you know that I use high visibility braid on a few of my more preferred rods. I use the Sharpie to blacken the first 6 feet of the line so that it doesn't scare off the fish. Gerber multi-tool. Big fan of Gerber. Have them all over the place. I have some more line tying tools. Just a cheap fish hook remover. And then I have a P38 can opener. That's for opening corn for when I'm carp fishing. Moving down, I have these labeled so that I can see quickly what they are. But the top one is my terminal. I have most of my hooks in here. I've got some other little, this is for panfish and crappie here. This is the Weston Creek Crawl that I was telling you about that I have pre-rigged on a shaky head. This thing is absolutely lethal. And then over here I just have some snelled hooks, various different sizes of snelled hooks. I got a couple of bullet weights in there, but nothing special. Up here I have some Topwaters, some stuff I'm trying out. This Lunker Hut Dragonfly really hasn't caught me anything at all. Yeah, these Poppin' Bugs by Lunker Hunt also haven't caught me anything. Got a Whopper Plopper. That always works. This is that Reaction Strike Ranger that I got in my mystery tackle box that I did a review on. It does catch fish, works pretty good. This is a 13 Fishing Jabberjaw. It works pretty good, I like it. It's got really good action. This is a Guggen Squad. I think this is called the Scout. Can't remember, but it works, so I keep it. And you guys have, if you watched my first muskie video, this is a Long A bomber. It's made by Bomber. It's called the Long A. Color, I think, is called Blind Ambition, but I'm not sure. I have 2 of them. But this one works, so I'm keeping it. And I've got various jigs. The black and blue. Black and blue seems to work best here in PA, but I've got a couple of other colors here. This is more of a punching jig here. This kind of gets into my fly fishing. And some slump busters there. Here's another jig that I've got the Rage Tail Swimmer already put on. And this works pretty well. Mind you, a lot of this stuff is bass, but it can be used in other species as well. This is my spinner collection, although some of these aren't spinners. I've got the Guggen Squad Contender Juniors here. I did remove one on this one. Sometimes, I don't know, it just works out better for me. This one tends to get caught up in the line and various things. Coming down the line, we've got a lot of Guggen stuff. This is a white Guggen chatterbait. It's kind of like a jig, except for it chatters in the water. Shad colored chatterbait. This particular chatterbait I only use in pre-spawn. Not really sure what it is about red, but in the pre-spawn season that works pretty darn good for bass. And then basically the same thing for the spinners. White one. These are called the Zinger. These are all Guggen Squad. There's the bluegill or shad color. And they don't make a red one in this, but that's as close as I could get. Obviously, you know, the different colors for different water temperatures and different feeding patterns. Meps. This particular one I bought because it was a limited edition. Haven't even fished with it yet. I don't really want to put it in the water. This Meps, however, I fish with all the time. I don't know what it is about this orange and chartreuse, but it catches bass like crazy. Down here I have a little spinner for crappie and another Meps single blade with the fire tiger color, also a good pattern. This one I tend to use in really muddy water. The bright flash and the thump, kind of a moderate thump, not a heavy thump like the bigger blade. Here's another Meps. This one is, I use this one for trout. And it's that for the spinners. Now we move into Topwater, my personal favorite. I love a Topwater blow up. This one, I was a little skeptical about this, but I bought it and tried it. Not only does it catch fish, it catches bullfrogs too. Up next we have the Guggen Squad Revolver. Can't remember the name of this, got it in my mystery tackle box. Have not used it yet. This one is by Weston and it's called the Spot On. It is a walking bait, very similar to this one. Like I said before, anything Weston is gold. I mean, this thing works like crazy. So does this. This is the Guggen Squad Hound. The black with just that little bit of chartreuse flapping in the back. You walk this on a constant retrieve, it's gonna get hits. The Guggen Squad Blooper. It's basically the same thing as the Hound, except it's a popping bait. Makes a nice little bloop sound when you pull it through the water. Oldie but a goodie. The old jitterbug. Evenings, right before sunset, run this thing right along the edge of the grass. Forget about it. This is the KVD walking frog. This is brand new, 10,000 fish tataki frog. Have yet to catch a fish on it, but to be fair, I've only thrown it once. Up next we have the Guggen Squad Filthy Frog and the Guggen Squad Poppin' Filthy Frog. And this one has the chartreuse on it. Again, if you work them right, they catch fish. And when I say work them right, if you use anything other than braided line on those frogs, they are not going to walk properly. That is my take everywhere bag. But that's that for my tackle. That's a little bit of a look into the stuff I use. I hope you enjoyed it. But until the next section, catch you later.